welcome to this Lightworker University event presentation for 2022. My name is Christie Ramirez and I am a motivational speaker. Now this is a 3-day free virtual live event that I host every year. And this year's theme for this Lightworker University's presentation is the spiritual mission. This is what's coming up in 2022, and this is what we're going to discuss over these next 3 days. We're going to discuss these 3 different themes that are going to come up for us for contemplation, but also for action. And this is what's going to bring us into the metamorphosis. Every year, my Lightworker University releases a journal. This journal is a spiritual guidance and gratitude journal that will help you throughout the year not only stay grateful, but also stay focused on where it is that you're going. And I give you guidance because every year, for this 4-year span that we're in, which is 2020 to 2024, there's major transformation. And it's all basically a storyline. And it's like we've embarked on this journey from the year 2020 with the awakening, the spiritual awakening. And then 2021 was all about this rebirth. And now, after the rebirth, we are metamorphosizing into our fullest blossomed potential, just like a butterfly, bringing us to 2023, which is our kingdom of heaven on earth. And that is the journey of what we always show up here yearly at the Lightworker University. And I want to welcome you all to this 3-day event that I hope that you enjoy and really take it to heart, every message that I give to you all, because these are God's words that want to channel through me. And I'm present here today showing up for God, being His representative, because there's this collective consciousness that wants to be illuminated, and there's great things happening for us and in store for us in the future. And guess what? The future is nearer than we think. So don't procrastinate. Don't think that it's too far-fetched, because it's actually within your arm's reach. And that's what we're striving for. That's what we're focusing on. And that's what this year's event is all about. So I hope that you enjoy these next 3 days, 2022, the spiritual mission. My name is Christie Ramirez and I'm a motivational speaker. And if throughout the year you want to book a personal session with me, I'm a soul coach. I have a master's in marriage and family therapy, years in the psychology field, and I would definitely love to help you out, give you some spiritual counseling, guidance for your journey. I accept individuals, couples, and children. Go to christieramirez.com/booking to learn more about my sessions, and also visit christieramirez.com/Lightworker University to watch all my previous events and also my exclusive paid events that are also very insightful. You don't want to miss out on that. There's more coming up for this preparation of 2022. Definitely make sure that you stay on the lookout. Sign up to my free mailing list to get updates and so much more. Thank you for watching, and let's get started with this 3-day event. Namaste. Hello my soul family, welcome to this year's Lightworker University presentation, this 3-day live event provided by myself, Christie Ramirez, your motivational speaker. And this year's theme for 2022, because 2022 is around the corner. This is an event that's always held in November and is based on London, UK as well. So it's a great time to definitely talk to all the people about what's going on, how can we improve as a collective humanity, and how we can work on being successful in this lifetime, right? Because this is what life is about. Life is about evolving on our soul journey, because remember, it's not only about the accolades in the material world, it's more about the inner healing work that needs to happen. And this is where I'm getting at, because this year's presentation as a general theme is the spiritual mission. For day 1, I always like to break it down on mini themes for each day. And today's day theme is your breakthrough. Okay, and this is the first step that needs to happen for the spiritual mission. We need to first achieve this on an individual level. And that's the only way that as a collective, we're gonna also experience the breakthrough. Now, what kind of breakthrough are we speaking about? We're speaking about the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think it's a coincidence that I chose to wear white today, because this is the light that's coming. This is the breakthrough. It's seeing the light amidst the struggle, the hardships, the challenges that are inevitable. And those are merely tests that basically test your faith. They test your character. They test your inner strength. And that's what God wants to teach us. It's all a lesson. It's not to hurt us, but it's about remaining strong and steady amidst the chaos, the storm that might be happening outside in the darkness. The world has gone through a lot of darkness, especially since I did last year's presentation, which was presented amidst the darkness at the end of 2020. We were like at the peak of it, right? And I still showed up, but that's actually how I came up with most of my creative ideas for my business, for soul coaching, and how I can help humanity more effectively. And that is through speaking to large masses at one time. And so that's why I'm showing up here today, and why I always make this event free as well. But I do also, that's why I always show up with this event for free, because I want everyone to be able to watch this and listen to these messages, these words from God. And so let's begin then with going more in depth about this breakthrough. Now, breakthroughs at an individual level is basically when we achieve our goals, when we break past a certain limit, right? It's about breaking those limits and discovering what we're really made of, truly made of, because that's what this is about. We want to discover what we're truly made of. And when we do that, we realize we're stronger than we thought, and we're also more capable of enduring hardships. Because at the end of the day, we know that the harder the hardship is, the better the rainbow will feel. Okay, that's how I like to talk to myself out of a hardship if I'm dealing with one. I like to say, I've learned to embrace the suffering, believe it or not. And it's kind of funny, but I actually sometimes love the suffering, because I know that something's great's gonna come after that. And believe me, it always does. It just magically dissipates, and then I see the bright side of life. And I feel like I go through those ups and downs because that's the tools that people need to be able to cope with even bigger stuff. There's people that actually get stuck in that suffering, and they see it as something pessimistic or something negative, and they don't see that it's a time of not only purging but reflection, life reviews, past lessons, past mistakes, or whatever it is that's making you suffer in that moment. Maybe it's a triggering situation. And when you look at it from a higher perspective, a bird's eye view, an angelic perspective, a heavenly perspective, and you ask God to illuminate you, what is the true purpose behind you being in that experience? And then you realize that it's a blessing in disguise. And so the suffering just dissipates, because part of suffering, okay, this is part of the breakthrough conversation, because part of suffering is part of being human. Humanity comes with suffering. They are both coming hand in hand. It's a gift to be a human, but it comes with the package of suffering, right? Now there's an exception to this, because human suffering can only happen when someone's stuck in the distortions of being a human, hence human distortions. And the only way to overcome that suffering is to overcome and transcend those human distortions. And that's what's called enlightenment, basically. Enlightenment is when you realize that those human distortions don't have power over you. And that's when you begin to take your power back. And that's when you start to experience your breakthroughs, because you break through those limits from your mind that is ego-based. And ego-based is what fear is caused by. So the ego creates fear. And so by letting go of the ego, we automatically let go of the fear that's blocking us of our fullest potential. And then that's when the breakthrough happens. You see, you're breaking through the fog, literally. You're breaking through the veil of illusion, which is the fear, the ego mask, whatever it is that's triggering you. Because at the end of the day, it's not really triggering your higher self, which is your soul within, which is what we do here, soul coaching. You realize that it's only triggering the outside layer of what's really your soul within, which is your ego. The ego is the outer layer. we have the physical body, which is our physical temple. And then inside we have our spirit, our soul, which is what makes us really who we are. But people, all of us, have an ego that is in front of that higher self. And that's the image that we portray out into the world. Now, there's of course exceptions, that there are people who are already transcended the ego, who are actually living through their higher self. So what they portray to be in the outside world is actually their higher self, because they've already done that hard inner healing work. But the other people, and you will know if you're functioning through your ego or higher self, because first of all, you're not probably living your truth. You're not speaking your truth. Maybe you're just not happy as well because you haven't made the decisions that your heart really desires. You're making decisions out of confusion or convenience, or just because it's what looks best on the outside, right? Those are ego-based decisions. And so part of this breakthrough, if you want to break through whatever chaos you're dealing with, because remember, chaos, turmoil, and any tower moment in your life only happen to those who are not living in their highest vibration. It's the law of attraction. That's universal law. That's the principles of alchemy and Hermetic principle, right? Hermetic principle, which is what we're learning in my School of Light. There's a whole class on ancient philosophy. That's the first theme that we're going over, is the Hermetic principle, because that's what rules all universal law and how the universe functions. And so if you're not living your best life, or if things are not going your way in your life, yes, we experience tests along our journey, right? But if they keep getting worse and worse, that's a key red flag that something's not right in your life, right? And this is why it's blocking that breakthrough. It's like a huge brick wall between you and your breakthrough, you and the next level, you and your highest, fullest potential. And so this is the main theme for day one. And as our first step, let's take it as a first step, because we need to go step by step. We can't just do all the healing work in one day. This is a step-by-step process, and in fact, it's even been a year-by-year process, right? We're in the second year of this Lightworker University presentation. So if you're first of all watching this for the first time, I really suggest that you go back to my last year's presentation and watch those 3-day events that I did, because they're gonna illuminate you deeper into now moving into this level. Last year's presentations, the day one was all about equality, day two was about love, and then day 3 was about hope. So those were more collective messages, and being able to break out of the 2D dimensional level that most people are living in when they're in fear. That's the lowest of vibrations ever. And those 3 themes, by mastering those 3 concepts, is what's going to help you to reach now the rebirth that we experienced in 2021 and we're still experiencing, the awakening and the reawakening. And now finally, coming into 2022, once you've done all that work, watched all those videos and really understood those concepts and mastered them, you're ready for the metamorphosis. And with the metamorphosis begins the breakthroughs, which means that it's kind of like when you're trying to transform in whatever area of your life. And it's like, let's say you're preparing for an exam, right? But you keep getting stuck, or you keep failing that exam. Something's not right. You're trying to transform, you're trying to pass that level, that grade. And the breakthrough happens. It's like the first step of the metamorphosis, when you finally start to see glimpses of the future, of your dream future, meaning you passing that exam, you making it, you achieving your goal, having your victory. And this breakthrough is just the first beginning glimpses. I'm not saying it's the finale. That's day 2 and day 3. We're starting at day 1. These breakthroughs are going to happen along the journey. And this is actually what keeps us going. These act as incentives to keep going harder, right? Because when you are doing anything in life and then you start to see that it's working, it only motivates you to want to do it more, and maybe even do it better, or maybe even intensify it and challenge yourself even more, right? You can apply this to any area of your life, which is the beauty of what I'm talking about. All of my talks and motivational speeches can be applied to any situation. Let's bring in finance, for example, right? Let's say that one of your dreams is to experience financial freedom, independence, prosperity. And let's say that you're having a hard time making money in this world. Or maybe you opened a business and it's difficult for you to make a living out of it. this breakthrough that's coming in at the beginning of 2022 is the breakthroughs, meaning it's those first glimpses. Okay, something good is coming in, golden opportunities. Finally, seeing glimpses of this prosperity, that now you can see that this is actually possible, right? Because when you don't see any results, it can actually disincentivize people, dismotivate people, and even frustrate them a little bit, and maybe even kind of put them in the depressing energy. And then that's when everything spirals down, because they stop trying. They feel like there's no point because they're not getting any incentive from the universe. Now, God wants to remind us that if you haven't gotten the incentives from the universe, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything wrong, although there's always room for improvement, okay? Any blockages is always a sign that we just need to reflect, review, and just perhaps need to make tweaks, or maybe we're still practicing and needing to get better, right? Remember the saying that practice makes perfect, and failures are only lessons. There doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you should give up, and it doesn't mean that it's over. Okay, failures can sometimes be the beginning of something more beautiful, because every failure makes you better, right? It's like me every year coming here, presenting to all of you. I'm becoming a better speaker every year because practice makes it perfect. Now, of course, it depends what I've done this whole year to perfect my skills. And if I haven't even practiced motivational speaking the whole year, then maybe I'll even be the same as I was last year, right? So this is the point that I'm getting at for this breakthrough to be possible. Practice and consistency need to be put in place, right? That's how we get better at anything, and that's how we eventually reach that breaking point. And this breaking point is nearer than we think. If you've been meticulously, diligently, day by day, hammering away, doing your work, and continuing to do it, to try, and even if you keep falling, getting back up, practicing till it hurts, that's the kind of motivation that we all need to step into this new year. Because I know that a lot of people have lost hope, right? Even the economy has been falling down. The economy has been disrupted because of what happened 2020. And it's been a struggle, economic-wise, for it to get back to where it was. It's kind of like, if we bring in a little bit of ancient wisdom here, it's kind of like ancient civilizations. Every ancient civilization had its golden era, and then every ancient civilization once had its falling point, right? And so let's take any civilization. I mean, we're gonna go way back. Let's say Atlantis, right? Atlantis, one of my favorite civilizations, which I do teach in my School of Light. They had their golden era, and they actually are our role models for the potential that we have as humanity to reach higher consciousness, because they reached it all. But the only problem was that they misused their power, right? And there were just other things going on that I go more in that class. And that's what created the breaking down of that civilization, and hence the disappearance of it, the sinking of Atlantis. And now it's a lost civilization. Now, this is basically also what worldwide, if we were to bring in a little bit of worldwide concepts, and what I'm feeling is what's happening. We've been through our highs, we've been through our lows, right? Worldwide, not only America, but worldwide. But mostly America, you can say, has had its depressions, and then it's had its glories, right? But now we're like reaching this new low point, and it's perhaps because things need to be rearranged, restructured, done better. Every time something breaks or falls down, it's because of some reason. Could be lack of morality, which I feel like is a big topic in humanity as a collective, right? Corruption, that is something that all humans deal with, and something that needs to be overcome if you want to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And again, this is what my School of Light's about keeping us in spiritual alignment and making sure that you are in the light and staying in your truth, walking and standing strong in this truth. Because this truth is what's going to save your life, literally, and your future. And if you want to experience these breakthroughs, maybe you've been at it as something that you really want deep in your heart, but have been getting no results, or you've been blocked by the universe. Because remember, it's nobody necessarily that blocks you. It's the universe, by our own decisions that we make. So at the end of the day, everything that happens in our life is of our own doing. And I know that perhaps can trigger some people, but I don't think so, because I know that most of you watching this today are open to change, open to transformation, and open to taking the actions required to be able to make this change in our life. And the first step is acceptance and awareness. Awareness of what's happening, number one. And then two, accepting that we played a role in it. We played our own part. This is exactly what happens in partnerships, in couples, in relationships, when something's out of alignment in that relationship, when there's fights or discussions or disagreements. Both parties need to acknowledge that they both played a part in it, right? It's like the runner-chaser dynamic, the one that nags and the one that shuts out and distances, right? This is like classic couples therapy that we do talk a lot about actually in my spiritual counseling TV network. But this is this dynamic that can be played out in any area of our life. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this breakthrough, obviously I'm picking up more that 2022 is about the spiritual mission. But of course, spiritual love does come into this scenario because it's about being with that partner that is for the spiritual mission, okay? And this is what the love show's about, which is provided by my spiritual counseling TV network. And then with the fashion shows that I do every month is about this spiritual ascension that we're all undergoing for, guess what, the spiritual mission, which is coming up in 2022. And I don't think that it's synchronistic, because this year 2021 was about this rebirth. And what the fashion show and the love show have been teaching us, which are free events on my YouTube channel, and you can also check it out at christieramirez.com/TV, is being able to rebirth into our best, highest self. That's what these shows have been about. It's been educational yet entertaining at the same time. But there's themes that help us to grow and evolve on our soul journey, for both at an individual level, which needs to be healed first for us to be in a healthy partnership, right? That's something to definitely keep in mind, because this year 2022, it's about the spiritual mission, and it's whether you're single or in a relationship, okay? It's about, are you ready or not? If you're single and you're ready and nobody around you is ready to join you in a spiritual partnership, then you're going at it alone. But if you found your spiritual partner, which is what the love show helps us to do in this lifetime, then they're coming with you, okay? So let's keep this all in mind, because this is like our spiritual graduation that we are preparing for, and it's a huge initiation that we will be undergoing at the beginning of 2022 and even towards the end of 2021. So after this presentation, beginning December, we're going to start to feel these energies. So it's very exciting, because it is this new chapter, this new cycle, this new beginning. So let's get a little bit more cozy. I'm going to sit down with all of you, have some coffee, and I want to go deeper into this breakthrough conversation. Alright, so let's continue our conversation over some coffee with all of you today. Such a beautiful day. And yeah, I'm wishing you all the best. During this transition that we're all undergoing, and I do want to give you all an acknowledgement for your courage, for your tenacity, and for your commitment to living this truth and being devoted to God's mission. If that's you, if you're already on mission and you're a light worker spreading the light, the truth, the love, God wants you to continue to do more of this, and it's only going to actually get more intense as we enter this new year, 2022, and we're going to be rewarded and taken care of as well, because anybody on their spiritual mission knows that when you're on the mission, God will provide for you. And this is this abundance that is coming through. This is the breakthrough. Part of this breakthrough is money related, believe it. And abundance, meaning feeling good, our best, health, wellness, and just feeling accomplished, and like our work is being recognized by God, right? Not necessarily by people, because it's not about the people's recognition or acknowledgement or rewards. It's not the outside recognition that we need to focus on. It's the recognition by God and even of ourselves, right? Feeling proud of how far we've come on our journey. It's been such a roller coaster of up and downs, especially last year, right? All of us have had to transform our life upside down, find ways to entertain ourselves at home, and then it sparked a lot of creativity. It's like opened these portals for creativity, which actually brings me to the next conversation for today. As I'm sitting with you all here today, it is 11/11, which is November 11, 2021. Now 11/11 is a very powerful manifestation portal, and this is again this gateway that's opening up for us, the golden gates to heaven on earth. And we are climbing up that golden ladder and then bringing back this information and making something gold with it, alchemizing. We are becoming the alchemist of our life. Our dreams are going to be made reality because we already have these steps by God, and now it's about following through, right? These are the steps that we've been revealed. You should have been revealed this whole past year if you've been doing the work. So again, if you're new to this presentation at my Lightworker University, please watch year one. It's going to explain a lot. Watch my exclusive content, the paid events that I did as well last year for the Lightworker University. It goes very in depth into the healing aspects that need to be conquered. Okay, this is part of conquering our ego, our fear, to be able to reach the next level. There's no skipping steps here. That's the thing about the soul journey. There's no skipping steps because it's impossible. You need to do the work. You need to go in order. And this is part of it. So I'm excited because I feel like there's a lot of professionalism coming in as well with the spiritual mission concept starting December. A lot of professionalism and just work for the bigger picture, which is God's plan. This is working for something greater than us, right? This is a motivation deep in and of itself. This is our deep why, right? If you've lost passion for life, or there's like this lack even of incentive or just excitement for your life, for your day-to-day life, this is what should keep you going, knowing that you are serving something greater than yourself. That's enough to keep me going every day, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what's going on in my personal life. I find a way to show up because I know that this is not about me. This is about something greater. These messages here benefit me, but they also benefit mostly the collective, right? Because I've transcended a lot of these things, and so that's why I'm talking about it and why I can teach about it as well. Now, of course, I'm still doing my work as well, but I feel like I've done a lot of work already. If not, I wouldn't be able to talk about this with you all so calmly and so happily, right? Because that's part of being human. It's about breaking that barrier as well between humbleness before God and surrendering to His will, accepting our fate, and knowing that we are taken care of along the journey. So all we literally need to do is go with the flow, and of course pay attention to the instructions and do as we're told. It's like we're in the military of God. I feel like this also vibe is coming in, this initiation of being initiated into the army of God to do the spiritual work. And if any of you have been in the military or intense sport, which I know the feeling, you know that there is no way out of that, right? Once you go in, there's no way out. And that's what the spiritual mission is like as well. Once you accept, once you commit and devote your life to that, there's no going out. There's no backing out anymore. Because there will be bad repercussions, right? Because if you try to get out of the army, you'll be arrested, right? Because you've made a commitment to that army already. So the US military, or any military in the world, is very strict because they know that literally their life depends on it. If they make one wrong turn or miss one piece of information when they're in the battlefield, that can be risking their life, right? That can mean risking someone else's life as well, part of their team, right? Part of their army. And so I feel like a lot of collaboration is going to come in as well, teamwork, like what I just said, because again, the spiritual mission work can't be really done alone, right? Most of the bulk work can, but not the real heavy work, which is, like the final touches of it, like getting it out there, making everything work with the details, right? Like for example, me setting up a presentation here today, there's a lot that's involved in this, right? Getting right lighting, getting the technology, preparing the coffee, you can say, you know, making sure that everything is in line, the camera work, all that stuff, right? That's just one example of what I'm kind of bringing up to the bigger metaphor here. But there's a lot of different roles and steps that are required to make the bigger mission work. And one person can't do it alone. And yes, it's possible, but it's not necessarily going to thrive at its 110% potential, right? There needs to be helpers. And these are the earthly angelic helpers that are coming in to kind of save our day and help us get this done. Because this is not about us again, right? This is not about our name. This is about God's name. This is about God's legend. This is God's work, His plan, His project. And this is what He wants to finally bring to fruition for all of us to experience, but also for future generations. That's what a legend is, right? A lot of people get stuck up on, you know, everybody wants to leave their legend. But a legend, believe it or not, is not living the legend while you're alive. Okay, and I know that sounds like harsh, but it's like the legend is the aftermath of the life that you've lived. So hence your life work. So this is not about just doing the mission a few days out of the year when you feel your best. This is about daily work, or at least weekly work, right? We all deserve those self-care days, but consistency, right? And showing up and staying there in the light and being the beacon of light to the people, hence like the lighthouse, right? We are like the lighthouse to others. And there's very few lighthouses out here in the world. And of course, that's the whole purpose, right? Not everybody can be a lighthouse. There needs to be a lot of boats out there and ships. But the lighthouse is sturdy no matter what kind of storm comes its way. Because it's the lighthouse. It's that rock to everybody else's foundation, to making sure the sea is running smoothly, hence the people is running smoothly. And so the lighthouse is out there listening to you, listening to me today. You need to really make sure that you are sturdy in your foundation. And guess what? Our foundation, our rock, through this transition towards breakthrough is only God. Only God. He is the greatest of all rocks, and He is the greatest of all forces. And He is the one that we should fully depend on. Not a person, no people, no groups of people. Yes, those are our earthly helpers. But when I'm talking about the deep stuff, when you're going through anything emotional, mental, or spiritual, you go to God first. And that's again where the spiritual partnerships come in, because I'm not talking about any partnership. I don't talk about relationships. If anything, in couples therapy, we talk about that. But that's because, you know, that's more like just couples therapy, right? And my main focus when it comes to love and even bridging couples therapy is towards spiritual partnerships, because I know in my heart that that's the only thing that's going to work, okay? And I want to bring this to all of you because that's all that's going to work. You can try all you can to go to couples therapy for a relationship that is just physically based, which means that there's no spiritual partnership, there's no spiritual mission involved in there, or even a spiritual bond. That's not going to work no matter how hard you try to force it. And so this is what I'm getting at. These lighthouses, yes, we can be alone, right? And sometimes God will bring these people and they are destined to be alone. So there's been many legends in the past who were legends. They were the lighthouse to others and they were meant to be alone. But there are others who do need that partner by their side. But again, this partner is the spiritual partner involved in the same mission, doing the same work, understanding on a deep level what you're going through without needing to say a word. Because there's not even enough time to be talking about it. You see, that's how intense the spiritual mission is. It's very fast-paced. I'm feeling a lot of quickness and agility to this, a lot of speed. That sometimes you can't just waste time and just talk about an issue. That's when you know that that's not a spiritual partnership, because if you're wasting time talking about something that's going on in the relationship, or that you're disagreeing, that you don't understand each other, then you know that that's going to have to cut out, because that's not going to bring you forth to the spiritual mission. If anything, that's going to hold you back from the breakthroughs. So this is definitely very involved this year, because spiritual love, I've been feeling with the love show, we are coming to a close with that show. That's like a year show as well as the fashion show. So we are nearing the end of the whole storyline, okay? And if you're new to that journey, the spiritual love journey, start from the beginning. It's a whole series. It's a show series provided by my Spiritual Counseling TV network. And I'm feeling like we are stepping into as well with the spiritual love partnership, if it's in your destiny at this moment in time. Because again, we also need to remember that everybody is functioning at different timelines. So it's whoever is matching not only your timeline, but your vibration, your current frequency, which is high frequency. So there's so many factors that need to come in to determine if these people or this person, this potential partner, can be a part of your life for this new cycle that we're stepping into, which is the spiritual mission. Because the spiritual mission always comes first, and that should be your motto for life. When you're in the army, nothing else matters but that duty in front of you, right? You leave your family behind, you leave your wife and your kids behind, or your husband and kids, because now women can also be initiated into the army, right? But if they're both in the army, then they can do it together. If these husband and wives are in the army together, they get initiated together. Again, that's kind of like what we talked about in the first episode of the Woman Empowerment Show series at my Spiritual Counseling TV network, was about this breakthrough of women being able to be part of the army, right? So that's a breakthrough in and of itself that happened many years ago, but now it's a metaphor that these partners can do it together, you see, because you can realize that there's not a lot of spiritual partnerships right now in the world, and it's because it's all been collective energies. And that's the beauty about these collective energies, is that it mirrors and parallels what's going on an individual personal level. So this is what's happening collectively, everyone, for this year as we step into 2022. We're about to experience breakthroughs, but with these basically prerequisites that need to be handled. So make sure that you're part of the yes group, that you're going to experience those breakthroughs, and you're going to walk through that gateway, that portal of manifestation of 1111, and manifest and alchemize the life of your dreams this year, this lifetime. Because life is too short to waste any more time. Make this your goal, to live the life of your dreams in this lifetime. One life, make this your best life ever. And that's how we're going to close out day one of the Lightworker University presentation for 2022 about the spiritual mission. My name is Christie Ramirez, and I am a motivational speaker. Thank you for joining with me today, and make sure that you watch day 2 and day 3, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Namaste.